Come on in, everyone. Come on in because today we are coming to you with a special video. Special one is because I'm coming to you from my car, which normally I don't film in my car. I used to film in my car. Remember we used to do car talks? Then I stopped, but I'm back again. I always say I need to go to my plan B when I don't have a lot of time to film at home, sitting at the desk. And this time we're coming to talk about some of the stuff that is in the news. Thank you, El Ramey. Thank you, El Ramey, for always giving me suggestions on what I need to make a video about. Because sometimes, y'all, I don't be catching up with stuff. So, El Ramey, let me know that, first of all, we got congratulations in order for Cameron and Lauren. They are expecting their first baby from Love is Blind. Yay, Cameron and Lauren. So very happy for them. Um, I know that they have been trying for a long time to have a baby, and I can imagine the amount of stress that was on them individually and as a couple. So it's so wonderful to hear that they have reached this point in their journey where they're going to be expecting a little bundle of joy. So excited for them. Um, and then the other news we got to talk about is everything that's going on with our other Love is Blind cast members, which are Ashely, AD. Ashley finally broke her silence on what happened with her and Tyler. We got to talk about that. And as you can see from my thumbnail, the conversation I kind of want to have with everyone is from victim to villain. That's really what I want to talk about. Victim to villain. Because the reason why I thought about that title was really surrounding a lot of things that have been in the news lately, particularly with women around marriage or dating. And I guess my little commentary today is going to be a mashup between Ashely, AD, this other lady that's been in the news who's married and was on wifey. What's it? My dear future wifey or future my wifey future. I don't know. I forget the name. When she was on there talking about all what she did with her husband, ironing clothes for a man that's cheating. And then I am going to throw in a little bit of this thing around Cassie and Diddy. Because if any of you guys have been watching my Cassie Diddy videos, I'm going to talk about this idea that Cassie was indeed a victim, but she was also complicit. So this is what I want to talk about. I want to talk about how women find themselves in positions where they were the clear victim initially. Clearly, they were the victim. Ashely was the victim of Tyler. Let's not get it twisted. No matter how you feel about her situation now, she was a victim. The married woman that was sitting up on Dear Future Wifey, she was a victim of her husband. Cassie was a victim. AD, a lot of you felt that she was a victim of Clay, right? But isn't it ironic that all of these ladies now, once all the stories are being told, and we're also watching the parts the ladies played in their own stories, a lot of people are choosing different positions around these different ladies. Everyone's not the same. Some people clearly see them as entirely the victim. Some people see them as not the victim at all. And in fact, it's so interesting that a lot of the heat that you would think would be reserved for the perpetrators, some of that heat has come back on the ladies who we are saying, I think we all agree that initially they were all victims, but a lot of the heat is blowing back on them. So I need to talk. I'm going to tell you where I stand on it, what I think, and we're going to have a little conversation about that, and we're going to have a conversation about this other tone that really is in social media surrounding married women versus single women. And I'm going to say versus because I do see, I am telling you right now, I'm being honest with y'all, I do see In some areas of social media, there is a concerted effort for some people either to put down single people, and hear me good, hear me good, there is also a concerted effort to portray married women as fools who want to be in struggle love and who have low self-esteem and who want to put up with anything. And honestly, I don't like each characterization of each group of people. I don't want people to classify single people as the most happiest in the world and they don't have any issues. And I don't want them to classify married people as living the best life and they don't have issues, because neither scenario is true. But I don't like to see people believing that they're better than the other group, no matter what group you're part of. If you're part of the single crowd, not thinking you are better than married women who are working through things with their husbands. And if you are married, I don't think that you should think you're better because you have single friends who are struggling in the dating life. Let me tell you, there's struggles both places. And you know what? It's so interesting because all of you guys know that my YouTube name is Married 10 Years. And I remember a young lady, excuse me, a young lady got down in my comments and she said to me, at first I wouldn't even watch any of your videos just because of the name of your YouTube channel. And what she said was she was turned off. Essentially, she was turned off by the title of my YouTube channel, Married 10 Years. And what she assumed was that I called myself Married 10 Years as if it was some sort of badge of honor. And I was using it as my entire identity. And then therefore, she didn't agree with that because marriage isn't everything. So first of all, as you guys know, I never really clap back at people in my comments. I actually like people to say what they think because I learn from what people think. And when a lot of times you guys ask me, how do you read people so well? Because I listen. I listen. I really don't talk to try to counteract what a person says, even if I don't agree. I let their words live out there. If their words want to live out there, that's fine. If I think that their words are too harmful to me, then I shut it off. But anyway, I had to politely tell her that the name of my YouTube channel, Married 10 Years, didn't come about because I think I have some sort of badge of honor of having been married 10 years or whatever the case may be. And I mean, actually, it's longer than 10 years now. I don't know. I think it's, I can't even, how long have I been married? 14 years. But the reason why I got the name of the channel was because I used to just comment. That's why I always ask you guys to comment because, I used to just comment and I like the comment section. I've always liked the comment section. And then when I comment and I would have a point of view, I'm coming from an angle. I'm clearly coming from an angle, just like if I were a Black woman entering a chat room with a bunch of white women, I might have a different angle. It doesn't mean I'm coming into a chat thinking I'm better than anyone. It's just me up front announcing my bias. Okay, I'm announcing my bias up front. I'm married and I've been married 10 years. So I just want to let you know that when I come in the chat and I'm talking about relationships, I'm going to be coming from the position of a woman being married. Doesn't mean that I know more. Doesn't mean I'm better. It just means I'm announcing my bias. And when I used to comment in comment sections, people would always ask me, well, why did you say that? Are you married? And then I would answer in the chat, yes, I'm married. Inevitably, their second question would always be, well, how long you been married? I go, I've been married 10 years. It was almost as if I couldn't even have a conversation without people wanting to know what my bias was. So I said, you know what? Let me just start changing my tag name to Married 10 Years. So that way, up front, if you're reading one of my comments, I'm coming from the position of being married 10 years. It had nothing to do with having to have a badge of honor. But this goes back to what I'm saying. And that is, there is an automatic prejudging lot of times of single people and married women from different people and for the wrong reasons. It is. I see it. I've experienced it myself. So, with that, we're going to get into Miss Ashely and also AD. And we're going to get into this other woman, the married woman who was ironing the clothes for the mistress. But I'm going to play my introduction video and y'all come on back. Come on back. Well, welcome back, y'all. Welcome back. And we are talking about from victim to villain. Now, first of all, I want to say something about all three women. All three women. And let me actually say four, because I'm going to bring Cassie into it. One of the reasons I think sometimes I differ from other people is that I don't overly victimize women. I don't overly victimize them. I can see when someone has done you wrong, and I can see when you have been a victim in certain situations, but I can also see where you were complicit also with what was going on around you, and therefore you can't completely absolve yourself from everything that went on with you. This is the reason why I get in conflict, or I get in trouble with a lot of people in the audience, because people who overwhelmingly portray women as victims, eventually what happens, I believe, to them is when those women do something that they don't agree with, what now is shaken is what they originally classified that woman as. So hear me out. Let's just start with Ashely, since she's the biggest topic. If any of you watch my videos with Ashely, I liked Ashely. And I was rooting for Ashely and Tyler, just like most people were rooting for Ashely and Tyler in the beginning. As the situation went along and we were uncovering things through Jesse Rue, Ricky Lake, all of these sleuths and investigators out here, and even our own intuition about Tyler, we started to realize that Tyler, before even all the big stuff came out, I started to see cracks and signs of Tyler. We saw it from the very beginning. And we also saw that Ashely was very, very cautious in the beginning with Tyler. Very, very cautious. As time went on and things started coming out, I began to take the position that although Ashely did not deserve the lying that Tyler was doing to her, I started to come to the conclusion that Ashley's motive now in the relationship was different from what I originally thought it was. Her motive was different. And because her motive was different, I didn't look at her as a complete victim. So hear me out. This is the same thing I said about Cassie. Cassie initially started out one way with me. I portrayed her as a complete victim. But as I started to see that her motive was the fame, the fortune, and the money, although it doesn't negate what P. Diddy did to Cassie, what it starts to paint a picture of is that even in the being awake and seeing what he was doing to her, she was complicit and she stayed. Now, a lot of you say, well, she stayed because she was scared to leave. And that's where I differ from a lot of you. I said, no, that isn't the only reason. It is part of the reason, but a big part of her reason for staying with Diddy, I believe, was because she wanted what came along with staying with Diddy. And what she wanted was the fame and the fortune. And the reason I'm going to say this, even more so, I'm going to double down on it, is because once Cassie fully got away from Diddy, and let's say all the charges become what the charges are, that she was trafficked. This is what the part I say. After Cassie fully got away from Diddy, did Cassie leave that world, which in fact she was a victim of? She didn't leave it. If you look on Cassie's Instagram, it's full of shots of her half naked, making money with her body. So the very industry that she was a part of, the very thing that she was trafficked over, which was her body, she didn't flee from the world. In fact, what she did was she doubled down. She went right back to that world, a world that tore her apart, victimized her, where people preyed upon her, used her for a body. When she finally got away from the world, she went right back to it, because what she wanted from that world, she still wanted. Did she want all that Diddy was doing to her? No. But she wanted what Diddy could give to her. And even when she was away from him, she went back to it. And at first I said, okay, well, maybe she needed the money. Maybe there was no other way to make money. She had to make money any kind of way she had. She had to live. She has to feed her children. She has to bring in money to the house. Okay. After she sued Diddy for $30 million, you think, well, Cassie, go off and do something else. You could do anything, Cassie. Why would you want to be in a world known for your body, dressed in half naked, when that was the very world that got you in that bad position? But guess what? Even after she had money, she stayed in that world. She stayed in it, in front of the camera, even not behind the camera, in front of the camera. This is what I'm telling you, that people have other motives, and those other motives sometimes take them from being a villain, from being a victim to a villain. Let me circle on back to Ashely. Let me circle back to her. Ashely wanted to be married, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to be married. Ashely absolutely wanted to be married. Just like Cassie wanted the limelight, Ashely wanted to be married. And just like Cassie, when things went left, when things went south, Ashely did not leave. Like as you all say out here in the streets, she stuck by her man. You don't think that there were people who were trying to get Cassie away from Diddy? You don't think anybody tried to get Cassie away from Diddy? Absolutely they did. Just like you all tried to warn Ashely and get Ashely away from Tyler, who was lying and cheating, who was a manipulator, who was a narcissist, all these things, a gaslighter. Y'all were trying your best to get Ashely away from Tyler, and she didn't leave, just like Cassie didn't leave. So if you're going to sit and call a Cassie a victim, then you have to still give Ashely the victim label too, no matter what she did. Now, like I said, well, no, because we tried to warn Ashely, and she was in the comments talking back to people who were trying to warn her. You don't think there was people warning Cassie? Listen, there's so many interviews of people warning Cassie, trying to get her out of there. I saw a recent interview with Diddy's security guard, who was trying to tell Cassie to leave. And what he said, he had to stop talking to Cassie, because when he would try to talk to Cassie to tell her she didn't have to put up with this, Cassie would then go back and tell Diddy everything he said. And next thing you know, he would be in trouble with Diddy. So people actually stopped trying to help Cassie, because what Cassie would do was she would throw the very people who were trying to help her, she would throw them under the bus. So they stopped trying to help her. Now, a lot of you may say that, well, that's different from Ashely. It's not. It's not, because I want you to look at their motivations. Ashely wanted to be married. She wanted to be married. And so when she wanted to be married, it's going to be hard for her to listen to a bunch of strangers telling her what they believe. I don't care what it is you've got going on. Cassie was beaten like a pulp. I don't care if you brought evidence. When someone has been dreaming of something and wants something, they're not going to give it up that easily just because someone comes along and tells them some truth. They're not going to give it up. Ashely has talked about how she has dreamt about weddings and being married since she was a child. And I don't know what made any of you people think that you could come along as a person who didn't even know Ashely, didn't have any capital in her life, and you were going to convince her You were going to do a whole intervention and you were going to convince her to leave Tyler. First of all, you were foolish to even believe it. You were foolish to believe it, that she would do that. No way was she going to be doing, she's going to do that. And in addition to that, you also have to remember that just like Cassie had Diddy manipulating her, lying to her, doing things to her, you also had Tyler in the background doing things to Ashely. Now, the other part that you will see as another vein running through these ladies. Now, I'm going to bring in the lady from the video with Dear Future Wifey. I'm sorry, I don't know her name. I would call her name if I knew her name. I don't know her name. When I listened to that video, what I saw in that lady was a lot of pride, just like I saw in Ashely a lot of pride. Now, when I say pride, I talk about the pride and the need to be right, the pride and the need to be in control. And that woman who was talking about ironing her man's clothes, I actually did not feel sorry for her at all. I know a lot of you people painted her as a victim, but I did not. Because if you listen very carefully to that woman, she was very calculated in her storytelling of how she even got with her husband and why she stayed. A lot of people focus so much on what the man is doing, you're not paying attention to what the woman is doing. This woman tells us that when she met with that man, before they even were husband and wife, he told her that he had a roster. And what she was most concerned about being was being number one on the roster. That's what she was most concerned about. She was most concerned about being number one on the roster. That tells me she's not a victim. Just like I say with Cassie, before that man could fully even implement, I would say, implement his game plan to manipulate his wife, or Diddy could implement his game plan to manipulate Cassie, or Tyler could implement his game plan to manipulate Ashely. All these women had to have something that that man had. That's what makes things a con, a scam, because you can't get scammed if you don't want it. A man can't come up to me and sell me an 80-inch flat screen TV and say, well, this 80-inch flat screen TV is normally $2,000, but I'm going to give it to you for $300. If I don't need an 80-inch, if I'm homeless on the street and I don't want an 80-inch, I have nowhere to hang an 80-inch because I'm living in, I'm sharing a bedroom with someone and there's nowhere to put an 80-inch screen TV. I can't be scammed by the scam because I don't need it. I don't want it. I don't desire it. But when someone comes along and offers you something that you want, you need, you desire, and you have an overwhelming attachment to it at any cost, you are susceptible to be scammed. And this is what happened to Ashely, the woman, Cassie, and the woman with the ironing in the clothes. The woman with ironing in the clothes, when I talk about the pride that she wears, is another thing that she wants to be a godly woman. This is what she wants to be. And she takes pride in it, because when she was telling the stories of her husband, she was low-key competing with her husband. I'm going to say it one more time. She was low-key competing with her husband on who is the most sanctified. Who is the most sanctified in this relationship? And what she wore as her crown was, look how he is sinning. Look how he is doing everything against the Bible. But look at me. Look at me being the Proverbs wife. She was secretly, not even secretly, her pride, her desire to be this godly woman, it was like her trophy. And as a result, she was willing to endure the infliction of pain that that man was doing, because although there was pain, what was more gratifying to her was the trophy of being a godly wife. You understand what I'm saying? And let me tell you, that has nothing to do with Mary Wingo single women. This is a pridefulness. This is a pridefulness. When you are doing something to get something, you cannot be the victim anymore. When Cassie was doing those freak offs so that she could be in that world, are you really a victim? When this woman is ironing clothes and preparing a man for dates with mistresses and taking all of this emotional and psychological, what other people call abuse, but when that woman says, I'm going to keep doing it because I'm going to keep doing it because every time he acts up and every time I stay, I look better. That's what she's thinking. You all are thinking she looks worse. She's not looking worse. In her mind, she's looking better. She's looking better. When you listen to her talk about her husband, she's willing to talk about, look what I did. Look how I acted. Look how I behaved. Look how I handled the situation. It really is all about her. Her husband is really just the background story. He's actually just a character in her movie. She's actually the one trying to win the whatever it is, the Grammy, the Academy. She's trying to win the award, and her husband is really just the man who has written the script for her so that she can shine as a godly woman. She liked it. She got off on it. And I'm going to tell you, Cassie got off on that stuff with Diddy and being in freak offs. She got off on it. Now, Ashely, same thing. Same exact thing. Ashely is very, very prideful. I know a lot of you, when she came on, a lot of you were hoping that what Ashely would have done was she would have gotten on that camera with AD and she would have said, you know what? I want to apologize to all you women out there because y'all were completely right and I should have listened to you and I should have never been snapping back at you and I should have never been believing Tyler. That's what all you wanted. Everyone out there who's mad at Ashely right now, you wanted an apology. That's what you wanted. You wanted her to humble herself. You wanted her to apologize. That's what you wanted. For you. For you. That's what you wanted. Because otherwise, there is really no need to be mad at Ashely. There's no need to be mad at Ashely. Because what Ashely has done is, Ashely, when she got on that interview with AD, once again, a lot of people really need to start listening to people and not necessarily always forming your opinion first. You can form an opinion. All y'all know I have opinions, but you need to listen first. Listen first. And if you listen to Ashely, when she first started the interview with AD, just like that woman ironing the shirts, Ashely spent a lot of time telling everyone about how great her decision making is. She went on and on and on, talking about all her friends say she has great discernment. All her friends tell her how strict she is on men. All her friends, she talks about how she has her life together and she's a good decision maker. The reason Ashely spent so much time laying that foundation was because that's how you know what's the most important to her. That's what you know was the most important to her. What was most important to Ashely is being right. Being right. Being right. And so when the Tyler story started to unravel, a lot of you think Ashely is sticking beside Tyler because she loves Tyler. And I'm telling you, that might be part of it, but it wasn't the whole reason. Just like Cassie wasn't sticking with Diddy just because she loved him. No. Ashely was also sticking beside Tyler because it's not really sticking beside Tyler. What she was doing was she was protecting her rightness. Hear me one more time. She was protecting her rightness. And here's the problem. When Ashely was the original victim, and she was tricked and bamboozled by Tyler because she was the original victim. When it started to unravel, for Ashely to fully embrace what everyone out here was telling her from the very beginning, what was going on with, what she would have had to acknowledge was that she was wrong about Tyler. That's what she would have had to admit. She would have had to say, I was wrong about Tyler. But she was not ready to admit that she was wrong because one is she wanted to be married, but second of all, she likes to be right. She likes to be right. And so in her admitting that Tyler is a liar or a scammer or a cheater, she would also have to admit that she was scammed and that she was bamboozled. And her pride would not allow her to do that yet. It would not allow her to do that yet. So even when everyone is screaming from the balcony, look at what he's doing, look at what he said, stop not looking at the evidence. A lot of you looked at it as she's protecting her perpetrator. Just like you guys think Cassie is protecting her perpetrator. Just like you think that woman ironing the clothes is protecting her perpetrator. No, no, no. These women are protecting themselves. They are in it for something. You guys are misunderstanding what their full motivations are, and as a result, you are not seeing the full picture. These women, and that's why now they've gone from victims to villains. They've gone from victims to villains in a lot of ways because what you are upset about is you are upset about the fact that they are not condemning these men in the way that you want them to, and instead they are attacking you. But here's the thing. If they want to stay where they are, if they really want to stay where they are, and you are the person trying to drag them out of a place where they are, why wouldn't you think that they would look at you as a person trying to do them harm? Why wouldn't they? That's how they're gonna look at you. If someone is someplace and they want to be there, and they're not really as much of a victim as you think they are, they really want to be there because they're getting something from the situation, and you come along and you try to drag them from that place. Why would you think they would just take your hand and walk with you? And then all of a sudden you mad when they talk bad about you. Everyone even said about Cassie. They tried to lure Cassie away. Cassie would tell Diddy about them, what these people were saying about Diddy. So finally people stopped helping Diddy, just like you was trying to help Ashely. And then she bit back at you, and now you mad at her. Just like the woman in the ironing the clothes. People bit back at her. These women are there for their own personal reasons, and you can't help people that don't want to be helped, and you actually should not be getting mad at them. Why get mad at them? They have just reacted to you because you are a threat to them where they really want to be. You guys really think that all the men are the threats. That's part of the problem. Part of the problem is that a lot of women overwhelmingly prescribe threats to men, but women are their own threats. And this is why I differ from a lot of women, because y'all always think I'm male identified. But what I'm trying to explain to you is I'm not male identified. I just see women who are willing to take on threats, because a lot of women want to put themselves in harm's way to get what they want to get. A lot of people think women don't have ulterior motives, that they're always so just pure at heart. No, women got ulterior motives. They do things for specific reasons too. Men do things for reasons, and so do women. Both of them. So when you are a person who are always willing to prescribe the victim label to women, what happens is When those women start revealing their own true motivations, now what do you do? What do you do? Do you start calling them a villain, or do you keep calling them a victim? You see? Now, AD, a lot of y'all was mad at AD for co-signing on Ashley's behavior. A lot of you were mad at AD because she also was triggered by the whole thing that happened with Ashley. Y'all got to remember how people talked about AD. AD was a victim of Clay in most people's eyes, except me. I didn't necessarily see AD as a victim because AD was where she wanted to be. I didn't look at her as a victim. She was where she wanted to be, and she was willing to take on the risk that came with being where she wanted to be. This is how I looked at AD. This is how I viewed it. These women are strong women. I believe Cassie is strong in her own right. I believe AD is strong. Ashley is strong. The woman ironing the clothes, they're strong. I don't look at women as weak and always the victim. I look at women can make conscious decisions, and even those conscious decisions, although they may not be the best, they was made consciously. They don't have to be tricked to make wrong decisions. And I didn't look at AD as a victim of being with Clay, but some of you did. And when you saw her with Clay, a lot of y'all talked really bad about AD. Y'all did. You said the only reason Clay was with her was before her body. And Clay don't like no dark-skinned women and all this and other kind of stuff. I found it offensive. I did. I was on AD's side. I didn't think that the only reason why Clay was with AD was because of her body. I didn't believe it. I knew the gift that AD had, and I'm going to tell you right now the gift that AD has. AD has the gift, which she did with Ashley, she did it with Ollie, she does with all her men and all her friends. AD is an inherent cheerleader. She cheers people on. That's what she does. She loves to cheer people on. And she's always going to uplift you, say good things. And when Ashley got on there, she didn't take on the role of holding Ashley accountable. A lot of people I was seeing in different comments wanted her to hold Ashley accountable. Listen, everyone has different interview styles. This is why I don't do interviews. The reason I don't want to do interviews because everyone wants to see a certain technique in an interview. And that's not AD's style. It's not even her personality. Her personality isn't one to want to go around and hold people accountable. And honestly, and it doesn't have to be her job. That doesn't have to be her brand. Her brand can be just let people come on and talk. Just let people talk. Let people get to know them, and you form your own opinions. Ashley doesn't have, AD didn't have to form her opinion. Does it mean that she doesn't have an opinion of Ashley? She could privately have her own opinion, but she doesn't have to say it on a YouTube channel where she's getting, 100,000 views or more. And I know in the end, the interview went left, and the interview went to a place where AD was triggered. She was, because what AD was really, honestly, what I saw with AD, she was commiserating with Ashley and getting back at all of the YouTubers and the content creators, not necessarily because, I don't think, because she agreed with everything Ashley said or did. I actually don't believe AD does. She was commiserating with her because she was commiserating over the feelings of being attacked by the social media world. That is the basic level of, I think, the way that they were commiserating. Because AD was absolutely attacked in the YouTube world. She was. And I don't care if people don't believe it. That's my opinion. And so when they started talking about how they felt and how they were treated, I believe that's where Ashley started to agree more with, that's when AD started to agree more with Ashley. But in the end, y'all, I'm going to have to wrap up this video. In the end, I am still a supporter, and I will continually always pray for every woman. Cassie, Ashley, AD, everyone. And oh, by the way, congratulations to AD with her baby with Asley. And like I said, people are in relationships for their own reasons. AD wanted to be married. AD wants a baby, and she gets it. Now, if it's not the price y'all want to pay, then that's fine. That's fine. What I really would like people to stop doing, I really would like people to stop name calling women who are in marriages and who decide that they are willing to have the type of marriage they're okay with because those women are getting from that marriage what they want. If it's not what you want, that's fine. It's what they want. They don't need to be called names. They don't need to be called pygmishas. They don't need to be called victims. They don't need to be called low self-esteem. They don't. Because if they have other reasons why, then they're going into a sober-mindedness. And just like single women, just because a woman is single, she can choose to be single. Okay? And there's nothing wrong with a woman choosing to be single. We shouldn't name call a woman that chooses to be single. My channel, if y'all listen to me, I do not try to convince women to get married. I do not. Because what I believe is to be married and to stay married, you have to have your own motivations for whatever reason. Whether that's because you want children, whether that's because you want a family, whether that's because you want a dual income household, whether it's because you don't want to have to do everything by yourself. I don't care what your reasons are. All I do is if it becomes a goal of yours to get married, I typically try to give women advice on how you reach your goal. But if it's not your goal, then don't listen to a thing I say. Don't worry about it. I ain't got no problem with you. You just fine. But I also don't want women who have the goal of marriage to be talked about and picked apart and put down because it is their goal and they have other motivations that make them stay in situations or endure things that you may call abusive, but for them, it's worth the price. It is worth the price. It is their prerogative. It is their choice. Women have choices. Ashley's pride is the part that really got her in trouble the most with the audience because people expected her to fall on her sword and say, I'm sorry, I was wrong, y'all was right. And that, honestly, that was an unreasonable expectation. That's what I would tell everyone. I don't know why you expected that. And I know no one expected Ashley to then, and AD to then come back and attack, I guess, attack Black women or attack the audience or whatever else. But that's the way they felt. They felt attacked. They felt attacked. Just like people would say about Cassie, right? People talk about they couldn't talk to Cassie no more because Cassie would lash out at them. So, hey, there you have it. There you have it. If everyone is so upset with all these ladies, then maybe the solution isn't necessarily for all these ladies to change. AD, Ashley, Cassie's of the world, the woman ironing the clothes. Maybe the people who should change are the people interacting with them. And maybe it is your expectations that you should change. Maybe that's the solution. That's the solution. Anyway, that's it, y'all. That's all I got. Talk to y'all later. Bye.